All right, this match review comes to us from Homit, who has almost 1,000 hours, just under 1,000 hours. So like we were talking about those crucial first formative 1,000 hours where you're learning the game, getting better at chase and such. Currently, it looks like we're starting on Rented Abattoir, which is one of my favorite, or is my favorite corn map. I think it's fairly balanced even before the update that will be out by the time this match review hits the YouTube. Knight is a very, very interesting killer. Kind of like used to be a 3-gen king. Still kind of can for the most part, but like kind of got a lot of his utility with that and taken away. So it's kind of harder to do with him. It's still possible. Did forget to mute my mic, but I'm talking. Oh, that's fine. That is totally fine. Yeah, let's go take a look at your person add-ons. You do cough. We catch you coughing. Hopefully you're well. I don't even remember what these add-ons do. Hold on. Okay, so you have extended patrol path and movement speed, and dried horse meat, which is duration. So usually, and I don't see a lot of I will be fair, I don't see a lot of Knight players, but when people run Knight and they do play Knight, these are add-ons I see pretty commonly that they use in terms of add-ons they quote unquote like and think do well. Map of the Realm, which increases the vision or the range of when you put your guard down to catch people. They use Pillage Mead, which increases the action speed. Double Assassin's pretty good. I use double Carnifex, but that's just because I play funky like palette destroyer builds. But those are usually what I see from people that like run and play Knight a lot, is those add-ons. In terms of your build, your build's kind of interesting. I don't really know how to like. Yeah, your build's kind of like. Your build's kind of odd. Like I see where, because you're trying to set up kick shenanigans with overcharge and pop, which is fine, and I get that. And then you have monitor and infectious. I guess monitor, the mindset behind monitor is that like, you know, you don't hear him coming as much, so like you get more surprise guards on them. I can kind of see that. And infectious, I'm not too sure about the infectious. Infectious I don't really see utility for on Knight necessarily. I would much rather in these two slots you have some sort of like strong info perk, or maybe another, like even another slowdown at this point. A lot of drop a Knight on a survivor on a gen? I guess so. That just doesn't seem to, because like that's great and it pressures them off the gen, I suppose. But like you still need the downs. Yeah, these are the two that I'm kind of like iffy about. So let's go ahead and watch the match. Okay, you break that early, good. I will say what you want about this character, but his sound design's always really neat. I've always admired his sound design a lot. Like he sounds cool. We haven't played him today, like at all. We haven't played him today. Spot somebody early. You spot 3 people early. Wow. Yeah, getting early first hit. Okay, you're gonna try to commit to getting her down early. She is running towards me. Oh, she does not even go to the strong window. Okay, plop that there. Force her out. Okay, now she's in a lose-lose. Yep, she's in a lose-lose. Perfect. That's, unfortunately, as boring as that is, that's what you do with this character. Force people into lose-lose situations and call it a day. That is what you do. Now you know where everybody is, because everybody spawned on that gen, so they certainly want that gen down. Were these different players in the match reviews? Yes. Usually, if somebody submits 2 matches, I'll just save the other one for next week. I usually don't do 2 from the same player in a week. Unless, like, literally, like, there was, like, no submissions that week or something. No, you got in the dreaded Knight situation where 2 people are running at the same guy. No. Wow, he actually gets him too. That's crazy. Well, you get Couchy out of the way right away, which is really good. Okay, good. You got to be careful. So this is a thing I see a lot of Knight players do. You gotta be careful about that. You gotta be careful about that. Because like Knight players, what they'll do is, especially ever since the buff, is what they'll do is that they'll like draw really, really long paths because they want that extra haste. But you gotta understand that like during this situation, you as the Knight, like the actual killer, you are completely stationary. Like you are doing nothing, which gives the survivor more time to just kind of like leave leave and run whatever the hell they want to go, you know. So like just keep in mind that that's like something that's gonna happen, is that like you may cut them off and you may give that like that guard all that haste and stuff, but you're also giving the survivor the chance to just like kind of like you know if they really want to just like W key out of the way and zoom into the next dimension, you know. So just keep in mind that that's a thing that probably will happen, and that does come with a risk. Okay, so you know somebody's on there. Fortunately, your power's not up, so you can't even go pressure them. Okay. You have pop and overcharge, and you didn't kick that gen. You have 2 kick perks, and there's a gen that's fairly far along, and you didn't kick it. I guess you're saving it for this one, but I would have kicked that one. So here's the deal. This is kind of a bit of a macro game thing. Okay. This is kind of a macro game thing. People have asked before, like one of the hard things that people ask me in terms of like macro game is like, I don't know what to do here, is like giving up gens. Cause like even the idea of like quote unquote giving up a gen sounds kind of precarious, because like, why would I give up a gen? Like defending gens is the name of the game. There are some gens you just give up, right? Like up there, you have a lot of gens like in a row, and one of them is main building gen. That gen was like, you know, not as close as this one was, but it was fairly close as well. So you spend all this time like slow walking across the map to like go kick this generator, which is already like 90 something %. And then there's like, you know, that allows them to slide in, get the save on Ash, because you're like essentially not pressuring or chasing anybody right now. So they're just probably going to hop on main building gen, get that one done. Now they get the save, they can heal they can undo your pressure and just heal the Ash really quick, because you want to come all the way over here to stop this gen. So this is kind of one of those situations where like I would probably just give this gen up, because like it was already like 80-90%. It was cross map, so it took me a long time to walk and go kick it, and I do have pop overcharge, so like that may work out in my favor, but it's very risky because of the travel time to go get it, the amount of pressure that's being undone in the background to me by the survivors. Like it's a risky play. So like I would have, like there's some gens I look at, like you guys will see me do that a lot, like in my killer matches. Is like I'll be in a chase with somebody and I'll walk by a gen, like we'll be in chase, and I'll run right by somebody who's like where a gen's like 90%, and people will be like, why didn't you go pressure him? I'm like, why? So like the person I drop chase with can just like rotate around and pop the gen anyway, like while I chase the guy that was just doing the gen. Like, you know, it's like it's probably better, just more efficient to just like take the chase down the person, you know, let the gen go, and then go apply my pop, you know, overcharge to like, you know, a gen that I already have progress. I feel like gen perks aren't as useful since your power is your kick perk. Well, kick perks are good on Knight, because like if you really want to like set up a 3-gen or something, as much as I hate to say that, as much as you want to set up a 3-gen, kick perks are really, really good for that, because they're very good for area control. So it kind of synergizes well with his power. But yeah, I personally would rather go with like Pain Res Jolt every day of the week, but you know, that's just me though. Because like you did all that, you did the pop overcharge thing, and now that gen is just at about the same progress as main building gen already was when you walked by it. So now you just have 2 gens that are both halfway done, and if the survivors are being in any way efficient, they're just gonna pop both. You know. Got so bored of it. Yeah, it's not very brilliant playstyle, to be honest. Yeah, and they got a completely different gen done. Look at that main building gen. Seems like it's not too far along. Just get corn blinded. It's okay. We all do sometimes. We tried to corner attack you. Luckily, cow tree is already gone. That would have hit me. Yeah, that would have hit me. Wow, that's a really disgusting setup. Cow tree into that long wall vault. That's gross. This is a thing I see a lot of night players do as well, and I do it sometimes. I'm guilty. I'm guilty. I do it sometimes too. Is like, once again, it's this idea that you're stationary while you're doing that. That's why he's in this situation where he's almost like a tile and a half away. It says you dropped assassin to push him out of this tile, which works successfully. But because you don't like draw a path with it, he's not gonna get in chase with him. So that's not extra pressure. You're not forcing him to lose situation. And now he's just in another tile. Right? So like be careful about just parking your dude there. Like in a short loop, that's pretty good, right? Like in a short loop, that's fine because like if there's nothing to chain and it's a short loop, they're just gonna get smacked, right? But like, you know, obviously the setup's really, really good. They have a long wall into cow tree into another tile. Like he's just gonna W key away and chain tiles. So I would reserve that kind of play that you just did, where you just kind of like drop the guard down for like short loops and loops where they're kind of isolated and they can't W key to something else. Because he just left. He just went to the next tile. Run this. Okay, you're fine. He's dumb. He's dumb. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You're fine. You're fine. Yeah, you're fine. He was stupid. I was gonna say something about running out wall 2 walls, but TLDR, run him counterclockwise. Don't give him the extra vault. But he ran into you, so like, who cares? What did I tell you? What did I say? What did I say earlier? What did I say was gonna happen when you popped that gen? Which 2 gens are at 50 and are just gonna get done anyway? It was those 2, wasn't it? It's like I know my stuff. It's like I know. What I said it. I literally called it. I was like, okay, well, you walked all the way cross map. Let them, you know, unhook the guy and heal. Let the other chick work on this gen, the main building gen, by herself. So now both gens are just at 50, which means 2 gens are already halfway done. So they're just going to do those 2 gens. You said it earlier, what side? You're like, he's a psychic. You're like, oh no, he's a nowhere. That like literally proof in the pudding. That's why. If you had deleted this gen, that gen would be done, but this one wouldn't be, and you'd be at 3 gens. It's little stuff like that. That's why, but like, to be fair, that's macro play. Macro play is probably the hardest thing to learn in Dead by Daylight, which is why a lot of killers suffer, and why a lot of killers complain for the meta to be constantly changed, is because they suck at their macro game. And macro game, to be fair, like I said, probably the most difficult thing in the game to learn. So, I wouldn't feel bad. Hey, Bree. It's good to see you, friend. Hopefully your night's going well. Yeah, macro game is difficult, so don't feel bad. So you're in a situation now where you should be looking for somebody to kill, but you're kind of like, you don't really have much pressure on the survivors. It's not good. Honestly, here, I wouldn't go after Meg. You have no pressure on Meg. You have no pressure on Meg. Like, she has not been hooked at all. Like, at all. So starting like at 2 gens, you should have somebody dead. Like you should be in a 3v1 at 2 gens. And if you're not, you need to make it happen somehow. Or get there as soon as possible. So starting a chase with a completely fresh survivor that you have no pressure on, not really a good play. Not a really good time investment. Could be better, could be worse. I feel it. Hopefully it does get better though. Look at that guy just dropped that paladin and look at you. Jonah ended up running into your guard. Why did you not swing at that? That's a slow vault. They are extremely vulnerable going over that. Swing at that. Swing at that. That is the slowest vault in the game, and you didn't swing at that? That was a free down. That's a free down. Even if you miss it, it's depressing. Like, at least you tried. Maybe you guys hear me all day be like, I wish my internet was bad so I could actually hit these hits. Oh, she's not even paying attention. Going for the grab? There's no reason to go for the grab there, though. There's no reason to go for the grab there. Just hit him. Yeah, now you're in this situation. In this situation, you have Carnifex up. While you have Carnifex up, when you're in this situation where you're approaching a pallet and somebody's going to drop it in your face and you know it for sure, just right about here, like, drop Carnifex and they will throw the pallet and click on the pallet to break it, and you'll be able to move through the pallet as Carnifex is breaking it and, like, down the share in, like, half a second. It's something you gotta utilize. You gotta utilize as a knight is blowing through pallets with Carnifex. It's like it's not. You can probably get away with not doing it, but it's leaving a lot of efficiency on the table. A lot of efficiency on the table. And if we're talking about being more consistent and playing better, you're leaving a lot of efficiency on the table by not just using Carnifex to chew through pallets. So, yeah, that's how you avoid that situation. I mean, even now, you can just throw Carnifex out and blast through that pallet and keep chasing her. I don't know why you leave her here. I don't know why you leave her here. Like, everybody else on the team is healthy, right? Everybody else on the team is healthy. So, like, what are you gonna, like, at 2 gens, you're gonna go start a full chase with someone? Like, start to finish? This isn't time efficient. Which is the Carnifex symbol? The skull. At least you're on. Okay, you found Jonah. Okay, alright. You should keep on Jonah here. Yeah, keep on Jonah here, because you do have pressure on Jonah. So much distance? Well, that's because they stopped to kick the gen with overcharge. I was going to say something about that. I hesitated for a second for some reason. Yeah, they got that much distance because they stopped to kick the gen with overcharge. Yeah. At least you know where to direct your next pop overcharge. And they're actively on it too. So at this point, what you should be doing is kind of like, you needed somebody dead a gen ago, and this may not be the nice thing to do, but at this point, if you want to win, you should be kind of like cycling back towards that hook. You should be cycling back towards that hook where Jonah is, so you can either camp them out of the game or down the saver and get them, tunnel them to death. That's what you should be doing right now. That would be the most optimal thing. Like I said, it's not the nicest thing, but like, if you want to win this, that's the way you win this. But instead, once again, we're starting a chase with Meg, who we have no pressure on, and you're gonna commit to it. Yeah. You should be going back and getting Jonah out of this game. Yeah. That is not good, yeah. You get really lost there. Well, you caught somebody going for the door, that's good. Don't forego a hit like that. I know you want the double down, but like, don't forego a hit like that. I see a lot of people do this, whether it be like, with like, the save the best for last, wanting to save stacks, or like play with your food to get play with your food stacks. Like, a lot of people will just like not swing because they want a very, very specific thing to happen. But like at this point, you're Like, if you were at like 5 gens, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. Like, okay. But like, all the gens are done. You do not have time to waste anymore. You have no time to waste anymore to go for something risky like that. You gotta tighten up here. So to kind of like rage that you get the double down here instead of just hitting him and taking whatever pressure you can get was not the right play. Okay, so you do get it. Somebody is on the door actively. Luckily, you have your power back. Okay. She gets chased away from that door. Very smart. Very good. It's assassin too, with a longer trail, so that'll probably help. Yep, she does get hit, which is good. Good, you keep checking the door, which is smart. That's jailer too, so that's probably the best guard for that. Why do you go to check the door yourself if you have jailer? Did you think about that when you did that? Jailer is already walking back and forth patrolling that, but you went and checked it yourself. You already have somebody there to check it. You don't need to check it yourself. Oh, it's funny though. To stay for my match, cool, good. Yeah. You're trying to kind of confirm your kill here. Cool. They're trying to get that door done because it's the one that'll be the best to save Ash with. Instead of forcing Ash to run cross map. So it's good that you're ooh. Carnifex it, that's rare. You don't get to see that very often. Okay, they're both here, but she can't go for the save. Grabs are still in the game during that patch, so I would have waited, but, you know. I'm not going to tell you to wait on a thing that's not even in the game after this point, so. So he's dead. This door is luckily not done, so you get them. You said that's because they made mistakes is why you get the 2 kills here, but it's actually because you played well here. I'm gonna flip you on your script here. Yeah, you actually played well here by keeping the guards patrolling that door. That's why you're in the situation. Everybody is injured, so nobody can go for the save. The only person that could go for the save full health was Jonah, who was already on death hook, so you get a kill out of that. And now the door's not ready for him, so he has to run cross map. So you get to go get a second kill. This was a very smart play by you. You were telling me earlier this is because you messed up. No, or because they messed up. No, this is because you played right. You pressured that gate perfectly, and that's why you're getting a 2K here. Yeah, you got this because you played right. So I would give yourself some credit here. Yeah, you played well. That's why you have this. Yeah, because now they can't really do anything about this. They really can't. They're kind of just toast. Yeah, they gotta just leave. Yeah, that was actually because you did well. Mostly survivors, so that's fine. Okay. I don't think their perks were really a part of this, to be honest. Like their perks were not really any sort of reason why that match went the way it did. There's a lot of stuff in there that you could have like theoretically done better, but like, you know, that's okay. That's good. That means it's like stuff that's in your you know, in your whatchamacallit. Like that's in your ballpark to fix, which is good. Obviously, unlike the previous match where we had somebody who was just like, oh, I just barely have any faults because I just showed you a near perfect match. In terms of your main takeaways, there's just some like I think you really need to work on is like in terms of like I think macro play is what you need to focus on the most. And I think in terms of your first takeaway, which is your biggest takeaway, which is the reason you lost this match, is that you're in a situation where you knew that there was a gen cross map that was like 80-90%. Like it was probably almost done. And when you first get your pop charged by hooking the Ash, you run into main building. Cheryl's there on the main building gen. It's already like 40-50%, right? And she's actively there, and you chase her off that generator. And then instead of like kicking that gen, which you know she's trying to finish, you decide to like take a field trip and walk all the way across the map to stop this gen that's 80-90%. You need to, if a gen is that far out of the way to pressure, that far out of the way to actually stop, it's not worth going into defending. If you're somebody like Blight or Wesker who can get there super quickly and then very quickly down the person trying to finish it, it's a different story. But you're Knight. You don't really have that cross map presence that like somebody like those characters has. So like that was probably your game losing mistake, was that you were just refused to give up that gen. Part of smart macro play is giving up gens that are too out of your way to defend. Like, I know the name of the game is defend your gens, right? Like, that's what you should be doing. That's the killer's job, is defend your generators. But some gens, sometimes that means giving up generators that are, like, that gen was, like, off in a corner and not really, like, near anything else on the map. As opposed to, like, the main building gen, which is really important and around a lot of tiles and around around a lot of other gens as well. You decided to give up main building gen, in a sense, to go do that, when main building gen is typically very, very important on most maps. Yeah, there was no reason for you to go cross map to pressure that gen, and the amount of time you wasted. Like I said, Cheryl just got to hop back up on main building gen, which allowed her to get that done. They allowed the third person to go unhook Ash and then heal him for free. Like, your little field trip you took ended up costing you the game. When realistically you should have like known your macro play and just like let that gen go. So in the future, don't go like cross map to kick a gen that you know is 80-90%. If it's 80-90%, it's not that big of a deal. You're gonna lose gens. It's gonna happen. Just dub it, like, take that L, take the L there, and focus on pressuring the gens you have left. I think the second thing is, like, us talking about, it's like there's some Knight specific stuff that you were kind of like not quite used to yet. Like, you would just like plop your guards like without drawing a path, and you would do it at like connected loops, so all the survivors would do would just like W key away from you, which is obviously like, if you want to drop a Knight and not draw a path, you typically want to do that at short loops or loops that are isolated, so like there's dead zones between them so they can't W key away. And then sometimes you would draw long paths for Knights for your guards at like short loops or short areas where there was nowhere to W key. So you kind of have it like backwards. That's your second takeaway. It's kind of hard to like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to describe. It's like you have it backwards, you know? You should do longer paths at like longer and more connected loops, and short paths on like shorter loops that are more in dead zones. So you have that kind of like inverted. So I would switch those up. I mean, that's basically it. There was some small stuff, but just like not having the confidence to swing at certain things. Like, swing at everything. Like, screw it, right? Like it may not hit, but it might. You know? So, I mean, other than that, those are your two main things. It really was just your macro game that kind of cost you this. Like, honestly, like, your chases were kind of long because of the Knight stuff I talked about, but like, you kind of like trying to get the mostest out of your overcharge and pop, and kind of like, you know, not understanding how to like control the map on a macro level is why you lost. So that would be my number one thing to focus on. I wouldn't overcomplicate it.